Peace, peace, peace. Keeping it real with Rami coming to you live from my car. Much love to you if you're watching this. Please keep shining. So why is there so much confusion in this Moorish movement? You know, to backtrack a bit, when I first got onto this information about 5 years ago, a little bit more or less, and one of the things that I had a problem with is that it was not anything that was very simple. You know what I mean? When I first found out about this, I asked myself, well, how come there isn't just this one website you go to, A, B, C, these are the steps you take, this is how you get your nationality card, proclaim, blah, blah, blah. And then when I started learning more and more, I was just realizing, you know, the lack of organization, you know, that this movement has, or I feel that it should have, being that it was started almost over 100 years ago. And it frustrated me at first, you know, and then when I started doing more studying and looking at the FBI files, I realized that this movement has been attacked, you know, so many different ways by so many different people inside and outside the movement. So, you know, if you are watching this and you're just now getting into the movement and you're frustrated because it doesn't seem like there's a clear direction or, you know, there's a clear path that we're supposed to be going, or if you've been in this movement and you are frustrated because things aren't clear and there's still confusion, we still can't seem to be on one accord. I want you to think about it like this, you know, because I'm making this video in part because there's some Moors out in California, that are trying to create this whole new thing. And when I asked them about it, they avoided answering the questions. And so the way that I feel that we can get past all of this confusion and cut through the bullshit, you know what I mean? I'm going to just get right with you. You study everything that Noble Drew Ali said, the Moorish literature, the Quran, the 101s. Study every single piece of information from Noble Drew Ali himself. And then when you hear a Moor speaking or Moorish American speaking about what we need to do or what we should be doing, you measure that up against what Noble Drew Ali said and see if it lines up. And if it doesn't, then you know you need to stay away from those people. Like if you have somebody saying, oh, we need to go get some guns and we need to prepare ourselves and go to war, well, just look and see if Noble Drew Ali said anything about us collecting some arms, collecting weapons, guns, blah, blah, blah. Just see. And then you'll be able to understand who's in this, because there's, you know, a lot of people will say there's agents, and I do feel that there's agents in the movement and outside the movement. But you can toss out the word agents. You can just say people that are doing things for their own ego, selfish, greed, you know, just fucked up reasons, and people that are really righteous and are doing their best to uplift humanity. And people that are really following the path that Noble Drew Ali set versus people that just want to take their own path and think that they know better than what Noble Drew Ali knew. So, you know, whether it be these people in California, Cosmo L is his name. I forget the other. Taylor Ill, I think, is another one. I can't remember all of the names, but I know Cosmo Ill is one of them, that are trying to create a caliphate. And I said, well, where did Noble Drew Ali say we're supposed to be establishing a caliphate? Oh, well, you need to come sit down. And that's another thing. If they start weaving and trying to avoid answering the question, oh, you need to come talk to me in person. Oh, you need to get on the phone with this person. You need to talk to this person before you can find out. You need to join and start paying your dues before I give you any answers. If anybody is talking to you like that, any Moorish American Muslim, anybody coming at you like that, I personally, Rami Salam El, say you should be careful around those people, because they're people that can't answer you honestly usually have an ulterior motive. For myself, if you ask, and this goes for me, if you ask me a question and I don't answer you straight, if you ask me, for example, The hip hop temple. Well, where did Noble Drew Ali say we were supposed to create the hip hop temple? Now, I made videos, a couple videos, explaining that. But if I wasn't able to say it, and if I was to say, oh, well, you just need to study more, or, well, I think you need to join my temple first and then I'll explain it to you. If that's how I was coming at you, don't trust me. You know what I mean? Because you should be able to give a clear answer. And if you don't have the answer, you should be able, the person should be able to say, I don't know. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Because that shows it's not about the ego, about wanting to be right. And I see that a lot in this movement. You know what I mean? And I can always tell when someone's BSing because I ask them direct questions and they'll try to give roundabout and old dogmatic religious type answers. And I'm not falling for that. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. If you see Moors or Moorish Americans, if they're trying to make this thing seem like a religious movement, be very careful. Be very careful, because it's not some new religion. It's not some just religious movement and you have to convert. That's not what this is about. The movement is national and divine. It has two sides, a national side and a divine side. And even in the divine side, in the literature that Noble Drew Ali brought himself, it says very clearly that each one of us is a priest for ourselves, and we don't need any middleman to intercede or pass the messages between God or Allah or the Creator, between Allah and ourselves. So each person, you watching right now, you don't need some priest, some minister, some grand sheik to be some middleman between you and God. You can talk to God right now. You know what I mean? So it's not about this religious, if they're trying to push this religious thing, be very careful. And again, if they can't answer you straight away, they can't give you direct answers to where, like for myself, in the Quran, it says that if you want to open up a subordinate temple, as long as you're following the guidelines of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and you're in line with that, then you can create a temple with your own customs and traditions. Hence, hip-hop temple. That's our culture. Moorish Americans, so-called black people, that's our culture. So I'm incorporating that culture into the temple, the subordinate temple of the major temple. Now that's a direct answer. It's not some wishy-washy thing, or you don't need to come sit down with me for me to explain that to you. And anybody that's trying that, again, I'm telling you, be very careful, because I've had, and I bring this up because when I brought up the Supreme Grand Council issue, and I bring that point up because that group, that committee of Moorish Americans, is the committee that would erase all of this confusion across the board. And the fact that most Moors are unable or unwilling to give a straight answer as to who the current members of the Supreme Grand Council are, lets me know that they're foolish. You feel what I'm saying? And having gone through that and having, seen a bunch of different temple Moors and Moors has been in this movement 20, 30 years, all try to play me and say, oh, you need to come down to Chicago to find out the information, blah, blah, blah. That's allowed me to understand the kind of tactics that these kind of individuals use to avoid speaking the truth. I'm going longer than I meant to. In closing, in terms of the confusion, the way that we clear up the confusion is we need to reestablish a Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America. And if you don't know what that is, then I humbly suggest, I need for you to go read it. It's in the Moorish literature. If you don't have it, if your grand sheiks or these Moors that's been in the temple for however many decades, if they haven't given you that information, please contact me, IAMHHtemple@gmail.com, IAMHHtemple@gmail.com. Matter of fact, and I'll try to drop the link in a comment below, but also just email me and I'll send you the link, no problem. If you just Google Moorish literature, it should come up on like the first few websites. I can't remember it off top, but just search Moorish literature or email me IAMHH@gmail.com. And when you read that Moorish literature, you'll see what the Supreme Grand Council is about and its duties, and you'll have a better understanding of why so much confusion and why most of these Moors don't want to address this issue. Yeah, I think that's it, man. Much love. Much love. Keep shining and keep searching for the truth, and go off of what Noble Drew Ali said, a prophet. Not what any of these other people are talking about. Not what I'm talking about. Don't believe me. Go look up what Noble Drew Ali said for yourself. Don't hear what other people tell you what he said. Don't believe what they're telling you. Go see it for yourself. Peace and love.